What's going on, everybody? This is Dan Martinez with Fairway Independent Mortgage, NMLS number 313097. So today we're going to talk about VA home financing. Home loans backed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs provide affordable home financing options for eligible service members, veterans, and surviving spouses. So some of the highlights we're going to talk about are no prepayment penalties, fixed and adjustable rate mortgage options, no private mortgage insurance, which is huge, 100% financing with full VA entitlement, fixed and adjustable rate mortgages, VA financing fee can be rolled into the loan amount, variety of eligible property types, including townhomes and VA approved condos. Now, condos, I know that are pretty popular right now because they're more affordable, but they have to be VA approved, and we can talk about that later. Loan eligibility, valid certificate of eligibility based on length of service or service commitment, duty status, and character of service. Now, fixed rate versus adjustable rate mortgages. So a lot of people steer clear from ARM products, adjustable rate mortgages, just because the fear of it adjusting to a really high interest rate. You know, the fears come from 2008, all those bad mortgages. So I'd always go with a fixed rate in this case. Right now, adjustable rate mortgages aren't really performing well. There's not a lot of them that are that make sense. Okay, so always stick with the fixed. I mean, something has to happen in the market where these ARM products are like at least a point or two below a 30-year fixed to make sense. Now let's talk about refinancing. So once you're in a VA loan, after a certain time period, you are allowed to refinance. Now, obviously, you want to make sure to refinance if it makes sense. So this one is called the EARL, VA Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loans. Now, it's a great refinance product. Interest rates are some of the best. Interest rates are the best on VA loans, in my opinion. So the product highlights are no appraisal or automated value required. Minimum FICO score is 580. No income or assets verification on non-credit qualifying EARLs. Closing costs may be rolled into the loan. Reduced funding fee. Non-owner occupied properties allowed. Now, there's always going to be some details to all this, so depending on your particular situation, and that's when you want to talk to me. I'll go ahead and talk to you about, hey, if you moved out of your home and it's still under the VA program, we can talk about that. And then let's say your credit score is 580. Now, credit scores are going to affect your interest rate. So always kind of keep tabs on your credit. Make sure it's above 600. You really want 700 FICO scores to get the best of the best, really. So with that information, we're going to go on to the next clip. Okay, so let's talk about who qualifies for a VA home loan. Active duty service members, veterans, National Guard, reserves, and surviving spouses. Now let's talk about VA fees. There are allowable fees and non-allowable fees. Now I'm not going to ramble on all these fees. You can take a look at the chart here and see which ones count and which ones don't. Now the fees have to be paid no matter what. So obviously the lender pays for them, the seller pays for them, agents pay for them. You have some options, but if they're non-allowable fees, you don't pay for them if you have your VA eligibility. All right, fiction or fact. You can only use VA entitlement once. You can use VA entitlement multiple times and can even have more than one VA loan at a time under certain conditions. Now, with that being said, talk to your loan officer, which should be me, and I can go ahead and give you the details on specific details on what the underwriter and what VA is going to allow. Now, next one, VA loans take too long. Our team may be able to process and close your loan in as little as 21 business days. Now, VA loans, there's a lot of moving parts to them as far as what I have to do as a loan officer, entering in all the data in there. But honestly, it doesn't take any longer than any other loan, really. You can't get a VA loan when deployed. If your spouse occupies the home, you may purchase a primary residence while still serving overseas, which is huge. All right, so here's 7 costly home buyer mistakes. Not getting pre-qualified, which is a huge one. You want to get pre-qualified before you even start looking. Lack of organized documentation. So once you're pre-qualified, me as the lender, I'm going to ask you for all these documentation. So getting to me in a timely manner and getting me exactly what I asked for and not an alternative is huge. Not consulting with the lender, realtor early in the process. So you need to talk to the professionals such as myself and your agent to find out what the market's looking like. Number four, not understanding the market. So the market is cyclical, so it could be a buyer's market or a seller's market. You know, your agent's going to say, hey, you might want to offer less, you might want to offer more based on the status of the particular property. So using Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com. Now, these are go-to places. It's very common for a lot of folks to just look at them to browse, or kind of like, you know, window shopping. So, but then all of a sudden you find something you really like. The data on these websites are typically delayed, so they're not current. So once you say, hey, let's see if that property is available, it's already pending, you know, somebody else has already got it. No buyer agency. So we're talking about, should you have a real estate agent? I always suggest you do, because you can go to a house where there's already the listing agent, speak to them, but the listing agent has the seller's interest, you know, not the buyer's interest. So always have representation anywhere you go. You want a professional. Wandering above your pre-approval limit. So let's say you see something 20,000, 50,000 or more over than what you actually got pre-qualified for. Listen, we can go over it and talk about it to see where we are, and I can run it through the automated underwriting system to see if you're actually going to qualify for anything higher, which is possible, but always make sure that that pre-qualification letter is up to date. Now, going to Fairway, the company that I work for, we've been doing business for over 26 years, serving families and getting them into homes. Now, one of the great things about Fairway is the level of technology that we have. So the Fairway Now mobile app is huge. Once you start getting into the process, once you accept a contract, right, and you're in process, then if you've signed up for Fairway Now, you and your agent will get mobile updates. It'll keep you posted on, you know, the process once it's into underwriting, once it's out of underwriting, and then once we have what's called a clear to close, your final approval. So very huge with technology. I highly recommend, if you start the process with me, that you download the app so you can get up-to-date knowledge of what's going on in the file. Another app that Fairway has is that works with is Home Scout mobile app. So you can see 100% of the area listings with Home Scout. So tons of features with this. You can actually save to your favorites certain particular homes to find out if the price is going down or if it's already pending. So huge app, you know, just another tool in your phone once you are ready to start looking for a home. Now, selecting the right mortgage for you, you actually want to be mentally prepared, because, you know, this is a huge transaction. This is an emotional purchase too. So you want to work with experienced mortgage and real estate professionals, become educated about the mortgage process, know how much home you can reasonably afford, get pre-qualified, obviously, like we talked about in a couple early slides, review a variety of loan programs to make sure you find the best option for you. Your Fairway loan officer, such as me, will be your best resource. So have any additional costs, renovations, upgrades in mind. Have a general idea of how long you plan to stay in your home as well. So when you're looking for a home, have all these things written down and really think about, hey, am I going to stay here for 5 years, 4 years, whatnot? Am I going to sell? Who knows, right? I guess it depends on the market as well, but you could be moving to another state. You can be wanting to upgrade. Your family's increasing. A lot of things can happen. So kind of have that, you know, what I say, 5-year plan in place. You guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope all the information was helpful for you. Once you're ready to move forward, please give me a call. I would love to help you and your family get into a home. I'm licensed in multiple states, so you don't have to particularly buy in the state that you're currently living in or servicing in. So thank you again, Dan Martinez, NMLS number 313097.